today we're learning about adobo. Adobo is essentially Hispanic cooking's seasoned salt. We use this stuff on everything. We use it to season our meats. We use it to season our beans. We use it to add flavor to our potato salad, to our eggs in the morning. I mean, I know people that aren't even Hispanic that use adobo on a regular basis. So it only makes sense to learn how to make adobo at home. Hi, my name is Marta and I am the chef and author of Sense and Edibility, where I teach you everything you need to know about cooking, baking, and cocktail making. If you know anything about me, you know I like flavor and I like to season my food. So it is no surprise to a lot of my friends when they see my collection of adobos. These are all different types of adobos. There's 11 in total, and that's just because I got, tired. I'm pretty sure I can find so many more different varieties of adobo to put on my site, but for now I think 11 is a pretty good place to start. So let me show you how to make 11 different types of adobo with things that you probably already have in your pantry. How easy was that? I told you that making adobo at home was a lot easier than most people think, and you already have most of the ingredients you need to make it in your pantry or your spice cabinet. So with that said, let me answer some frequently asked questions that I get regarding this recipe. Well, these recipes. This is not the same adobo that they make in the Philippines. Now, they probably do use adobo seasoning in the Philippine Islands, but their adobo is a sauce that is made with peppercorns and soy sauce and bay leaves, and they usually stew chicken in it. So no, it's not the same exact word, but again, we were both colonized by the Spanish, so that would make sense. But no, it's not the same. This is a all-purpose seasoning, whereas theirs is a sauce. You can store this adobo in the pantry or in a cool, dark area for up to 6 months. Yes, you can keep it a little bit longer. I know I've kept spices for up to a year, so it's not a hard and fast rule. In general, you only want to keep it for 6 months because that is when the spices and the salt are at their freshest and they taste best. Just keep it in a jar with a tight fitting lid. You can also put this in a mason jar or just repurpose some of the spice jars that you may have emptied during this process and keep your adobo in there. Make sure you label it for the rest of the people in your family. Usually a half to 1 teaspoon is the amount that you would use to season most things. But if you're making the varieties or the different types of adobo, it's very important to label it, especially when it comes to this picante because it's super spicy. You don't have to use the 1/4 cup of salt that most of these varieties call for. You can reduce it to 2 tablespoons or 3 tablespoons. Just make sure that you remember that it's not going to taste as salty as the original recipe would. If you have a low sodium diet, I highly recommend using the low sodium version because that comes with the least amount of salt, but it also uses the lemon peel to replace some of that tanginess that salt gives to your taste buds. You don't have to add the MSG to the adobo con sazón. I do it because I love MSG. I like using MSG. I like eating food that has MSG in it. So that's why I added to this. And also because Sazón has MSG in it. If you have a sensitivity to MSG or you just don't like using it, then you can totally omit it from the adobo con sazón and it'll still taste pretty good. You would replace it, I would replace it with a tablespoon of salt. Yeah, that's what I would do. So the Sazonador Total is the one that has the dried sofrito in it. And to make dried sofrito, all you need to do is put a thin layer of prepared sofrito in a dehydrator and just let that go for 24 hours to dehydrate. You can also dehydrate your sofrito in a warm oven, not hot, like 200 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 93 degrees Celsius. Yeah, so not super hot, just a warm oven. Put it on a sheet pan on top of a silicone baking mat, spread it out into a thin layer and let it dehydrate for about, in the oven it should take about an hour and a half to 2 hours to dehydrate until it's dry. You saw what it looked like. It's sofrito, I promise. Don't have the feds coming after me. And if you need a sofrito recipe, I have one, I'll link it right here. If you don't have turmeric, a good substitute is curry powder. Sometimes if I run out of turmeric, I use mild Jamaican curry powder, although using spicy curry powder would be awesome too. I use curry powder because curry powder is essentially turmeric and it has a lot of the same spices that we use in Puerto Rico in cooking anyways. So curry powder, but try to use Jamaican curry powder. Although Madras curry powder would be good, I think Jamaican is more mellow, so it would go better in the adobo. And if you don't want to use turmeric at all, that's cool. All it does is add a little bit of yellow color to the adobo. It does have slight, very mild anti-inflammatory properties. It also gives the adobo a bit of earthiness, but it really is for color. So if you don't have turmeric, you can omit it from the adobo recipe. You can absolutely experiment. In fact, I encourage you to experiment and develop your own adobo recipe. And if you do, please by all means drop it down below in the comments. I would love to hear what creation you came up with. I think 11 different types of adobos is a pretty good place to start, but I mean, sky's the limit. As long as you got spices, you can do you. As you can see, adobo would make great holiday gifts. You can pick whichever one is your favorite, or if you know you're giving it to someone specific, then you can ask them what their favorite type of adobo is and surprise them by making some. I also have Sazón recipes on my site, senseandedibility.com, where you can find all 11 of these adobo recipes, and you can find plenty of recipes to use your adobo in on the site as well. If you liked this video, please click the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you can get notified whenever I post new recipe videos. Let me know in the comments below which of these adobo recipes you can't wait to try. I know that my favorite one is the Sazonador Total because it literally has everything that I ever use in my flavorings. So, thanks for joining me and I will see you next time. Did I have something in my teeth? Ow, I shouldn't have done that. My knees really hurt. I think I pulled something. Oh, okay.